What's going on, everybody? This is Coach Bronson. It's a Tuesday live. Today, question and answers with me. If you have any questions or things you want to discuss that have to do with fitness, nutrition, mindset, health, quality of life, uh, working through an injury, whatever it may be, anything that I can do to help you move forward in your journey is what I'm here to do. I've been coaching for over 12 years. I am a nutrition, fitness, and mindset behavior change coach. And I work primarily with women over 40. I work with everybody. If anybody has a problem, you want to work with me, I'll work with you. But most of my clientele is women over 40 who are looking to take their journey to the next level. People who are women who are following a keto or carnivore diet, who have maybe been following it for a while. What's going on, Facebook user? If you're on Facebook, don't forget that I can't see your name. So introduce yourself, say who you are when you say hi in the feed. Most of my clientele are women who have been keto carnivore for a while and have gotten to a point where they maybe had some major changes, some weight loss, what's the word I'm looking for? Recovered or removed some medical or health issues from their life. And then they're at a point where they're feeling like there's more to the process. There's more for them to do. They're just not sure how to get there. Often that is a byproduct of focusing on nutrition and not including fitness in the equation. Often that is the case. There's also a lot of aspects about consistency and knowing what the right things are to do. And that's a lot of what I discuss is taking all the information that's out there and helping individuals figure out how it's supposed to apply to their individual circumstances and contexts. Hey, what's up, Andre? Hey, Coach B, hope you and Coach Nat have been safe and well. We have been very safe and very well. We got a lot of stuff going on. We spent the weekend in a nearby town, nearby city. It's looking, without giving too much information away, it's looking like we might be moving again in the near future, going to a new location. We'll still be in the mid-Atlantic, just moving a little further south. Got some things happening that are very exciting. Eventually, I'll be able to talk about all that, but it's some really cool stuff. But we went out and looked at some apartments and got to see the city we're looking to move to, get a feel for it. It's very nice. We are very excited. So here's my thing, Nicole. Hey, Coach, jumped over from Facebook. All right. Well, hey, Nicole, how's it going? So as we talk, guys, I'm here for you. This is your hour, your 45 minutes, your 30 minutes. It depends. I'm only on here as long as you guys are asking questions. So if we get a low attendance tonight, it'll be a short night. Otherwise, we get people in asking questions. We could talk for 2 hours. I don't really care. Hopefully everything's going well as you listen. If you have any questions, please ask them. And what I mean by questions, it's not just questions. Maybe it's, I saw something on YouTube the other day that didn't make sense. Could you explain it? Hey, so-and-so said something over here. So-and-so said something over here. It doesn't make sense because they said the exact opposite. What should I do? That kind of stuff. I'm very big on principles, concepts, and not on individual specific methods and mechanisms, right? What's up, Juliana, excuse me. I'm going to get it right one of these days. Don't yell at me. So we talk about concepts a lot and how to take those concepts and figure out how to make them work for you. The basics and the foundations, the foundational elements of nutrition and fitness and habit change, those are the things to focus on. If you're not doing the basics, then don't worry about the specifics, right? Tactics and hacks and shortcuts don't do anything for you long term if you're not doing the basics first. So that is the basic premise of how pretty much everything I work on is. A lot of discussions I have with people in consults or one-on-ones when I'm working through a program with someone is helping them to take a step back from all of the stress and details and complexity that they've been trying to implement and just keep it simple. Like, what are the simple things? We need protein. Okay, just get more protein. Don't worry about how much, just get more than you're getting now. That's a lot easier than, oh my God, I got to figure out how much I need to have. What's my lean mass? What's my goal weight? What's this? What's that? Percentage is this? What's that ratio? Just get more protein. That's the bottom line. I don't care how much more, as long as you get more. If it starts working for you, then great. You found a good amount. If you need more, then eat more. Like, playing around with things within a much simpler context makes the process a lot easier, guys. Let's see. Andre's asking a flavor. Let's see. He's asking, Andre, you're asking a flavor. Sorry, I was talking and reading something else at the same time. Remind me not to do that. Andre's asking a question. I have a question. I'm doing a 5x5 program 2 times a week with an occasional weighted vest walk during the week. Okay. May I have your opinion on my activity? I only have weekends and 2 nights to myself. Okay, so I mean, it sounds great to me. I don't know what's a little more detail on the question, Andre? So this is a really good example, guys. When you're asking questions or when you're looking at your own process and the things that you're doing, what are some of the framework questions you should ask yourself? What is the goal? How fast do I want to get there? And am I doing stuff that is sustainable? Those are the 3 big questions, right? Can I keep doing it? If you can keep doing a 5x5 2 times a week with an occasional weighted vest walk throughout, during the week as well. So 3 days of activity a week, that's heavy and intense and giving you some results, then that sounds fine, right? So the question isn't, may I have my opinion on your activity? Or as you said, you just commented in another spot that says, sorry, is there something I can do that would be better? Do you have any negative thoughts on it? Okay. So I don't know if there's something you could do to get better. The question is it working? If what you're doing is helping you reach your goals, then there is nothing that I could give you that would be better. Because it's helping you reach your goals. If you're reaching your goals, you're doing what you said you wanted to do. You're getting where you wanted to go. Now, if you're trying to get to a certain specific place and it's not happening, then we can evaluate how things are going. Maybe you need 3 days of actual weight training. Maybe 5x5 isn't the program for you. Maybe you need something that's more conjugate based to get some accessory work and some variation and rest in what you're doing. Maybe you should be doing, instead of doing a weighted vest walk occasionally, maybe you should do it consistently once a week. There's a whole bunch of other things. Then, if I'm working with you as a client, Andre, I'm also asking how much you eating, how much you sleeping, what's your work life look like, what's your relationships like, what's your schedule throughout the day, what time do you get up in the morning, when do you eat your meals? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that discussion. So from what you're doing exercise wise, 5x5 is a great program to help build overall strength and lean mass. I think it's a great program. You can do a lot and go a long way in your journey doing 5x5. Okay. I don't know how long you've been doing it. You'll get to a point in 5x5 where you're going to feel kind of stale and stagnant, and then you might want to switch up to something else. If you're not there yet, then keep doing it. I like 5x5. It's a great program. There's a whole bunch of other programs out there from a lifting perspective. Conjugate, Juggernaut, Starting Strength are some good ones. Starting Strength might be another good one to take a look at if you're a beginner. I don't know your experience level. But yeah, I mean, in general, Andre, I don't have a problem with what you're doing. I think, it sounds great to me. Hope that kind of answers your question, right? Not knowing really what you're looking to do and what you're trying to go. You did ask something about my thoughts on raw cheese. This is an interesting one that came up. Just like anything else, experiment and evaluate how it's affecting you. Okay. Cheese in and of itself may cause weight gain, may cause inflammation, may cause gut issues. Happens with people, happens with me. If I eat too much cheese on a consistent basis, my gut starts going crazy and I get inflamed and I start gaining fat. something I said on a YouTube video. I was on Rena's 5-Minute Body, Rena's YouTube channel a couple weeks ago. She posted it this week. And in that video, if you go to her channel, go to YouTube, go to 5-Minute Body, we talked about fat, protein, all kinds of different stuff. But she asked me about raw milk. And, or sorry, we talked about raw milk. We talked about butter. Raw milk, I think, is fantastic. I think it can be a great tool for a lot of people who have issues with milk and can't digest pasteurized milk. Unpasteurized raw milk is more digestible. It's also great for building muscle. It doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody can do it. Some people shouldn't do raw milk. Some people can. Okay? Same thing with cheese. Now, there's a difference. Raw milk is a whole food. Cheese is not a whole food. And guess what, guys? Neither is butter. If you are doing a whole food diet and you want to be super technical, as dogmatic and overly complicated as possible, then you shouldn't be doing butter. Because butter is processed food. It's not whole food. Okay? So something to think about. The dogma behind doing things the right way can mess you up. I have no problem with butter. Yes, butter is processed. I don't care. The effect and the impact of that processing and the change in the natural state from milk to butter is, honestly, it's one of the few things that I think is actually a beneficial change. The things that are in butter and what butter can do for the human body, I think is fantastic. Now, raw milk butter, get me some, please. Okay. But cheese is a different story. If you compare butter and cheese, I think the impact of butter being a processed dairy product versus cheese being a processed dairy product, I think that cheese is going to be much more potentially harmful and negative to your process than butter is going to be. Butter is, in most cases, 90% of the cases, beneficial. Cheese, I would say, could be as low as 50-50. Some people just can't do it. Other people can do it. Even if they can do it, they probably can't do it for a long period of time before they need to take a break and then stop doing it for a while, let things settle down before they reintroduce it again. So I think butter overall is probably more on the net negative side towards most people's journey, even if it's raw. But that's kind of, you got to play around with it yourself and see how things go. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hide that comment. Juliana says, and it is measurable too. Yes, the goal should be measurable. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Let's see. We got Andre's question. Andre, Facebook user, said, hey, coach. Let's see. Here's my thing, Nicole. Nicole says, I like the idea of just getting more protein as I struggle to get my macros and protein daily. It stresses me out thinking about that number so much. Yeah, absolutely. Very much it can be a struggle. If you're just getting started, especially with prioritizing protein and understanding what that kind of a lifestyle looks like, going from maybe 60, 70, 80, 90 grams of protein to looking at the number and like, how in the world am I going to get 120 grams of protein? Or even 100, even 10 more grams of protein a day seems like so much. And if you don't look at the numbers and just think about it from the perspective of how can I add a little bit more protein to each meal, then it makes it a little easier. Remember, it doesn't have to happen overnight. It can take 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks to get to a better number consistently. It can take longer. Some people take a long time to build up to that. But the more consistent you are trying to just introduce a little bit more protein, the more easy it's going to become. Your body's going to get used to it. Your mind's going to get used to it. It's going to kind of become a natural thing. I know when I first started, a pound of meat a day was a challenge. I'm at a point now where if I'm hungry, I could probably do 3 to 3.5 pounds a day if I'm really feeling it. Right. So on average, I do about 2 to 2.5. Somewhere around there. And it's no problem. I don't even think about it. I just get it, and that's what I eat. It's like it's not even a consideration for me how much I'm getting. So just think about it a little bit at a time. Doesn't have to be a lot. What's up, Scott? How's it going? Tamar's just popped by to say hi and thank you for all your support. Let's see. Hi and thank you for all your support with help and info. Can't watch now, but place it on my watch later list. That's awesome. I appreciate that, Tamar. Watch it when you can. The joy of technology. Ooh, here we go. Okay. Element versus Relight, the ancient battle. Um, I think, hey, babe, we should probably do a video together on this. Element versus Relight. She said she's down. We might do a video about that. We like them both. So I believe Element has a little bit less potassium. Relight has a little bit more potassium. The flavorings, whichever one you prefer, go for it. They're both good. We use them both. We've got a couple tubs of Element or a couple tubs of Relight in the cupboard, and we've got a couple boxes of Element in the cupboard. So we go back and forth. Really, kind of more just what flavor are we in the mood for? What are we mixing in? That kind of stuff. So the cool things I like about Element, their flavors are a little bit stronger. And sometimes I'm in the mood for something I just want to punch in the face. I like that when I'm working out or before a workout. They have chocolate flavors, which Element or Relight does not have. So if you're doing a hot chocolate, a coffee, or something else where you want that chocolate mint, chocolate, or chocolate caramel flavor, then you have those options. Relight doesn't have those. On the flip side, Relight has a whole bunch more flavors. I like their flavor profile overall. It's much more chill. It's a little sweeter, not as much tangy. Element is a lot more tangy with most of their flavors, but it's a little bit more muted at the flavor. It's more like chill to drink. You're not feeling like you're drinking a Kool-Aid when you drink one. And they have a bunch of good flavors. I really like the pina colada. That's probably one of my favorites right now. So versus, I don't think it's an Element versus Relight as much as it's a Element and Relight. We use them both. We promote them both. We're affiliates for both. They're the best two electrolyte products on the market as far as I'm concerned. So have a blast with either one. Let's see. Nicole says, I'm a trail runner and my knees never bother me, but now that I've started doing functional fitness, the squats are causing me issues. I don't want to cause a problem where I can't run. Thoughts. Okay, could you define what do you mean by issues? That's vague. I can't really address that. This is one of those discussions where it's very likely, okay, that doing something different that's increasing your physical ability in areas you're not used to increasing them is correcting movement patterns or dysfunctions that are causing pain or discomfort during the process of correction. Okay. So it's important when you're starting a new program to take your time. You may need to cut back on other activities while you get your body used to the new activities before you reintroduce those again and kind of see how things balance out. Often I see people going through learning how to squat properly and then wondering why their knees or their back or whatever hurt all the time. It's because they're doing things, they're using muscles, they're engaging parts of their body they've never used properly before. So there's an aspect of discomfort that comes with that in the growth and the activation of those systems. So it's very likely, Nicole, that there's nothing wrong per se, but doing these other things are potentially helping you create a better overall fitness profile and functional profile, but that process isn't always comfortable. If you're concerned with what's happening and how that feels, then I would highly recommend that you find a sports physical therapist, an exercise physical therapist, sports performance, athletic, whatever, in your area, and just don't tell them there's anything wrong. Just say, hey, I'm starting a program. I'm noticing some things. Could you do a movement review and see how I move. This is what I used to do. This is what I'm used to doing. This is what I'm doing now. I'm noticing some things. Could you just see what you think is going on and get an evaluation? It shouldn't be super expensive. You're not asking for treatment. You just want a movement. You want your movement analyzed to see what's going on. They may be able to tell you, yeah, you've been running trails. You've got some tightness in your hips, and that's overcompensated for weakness in your legs. So when you're building weakness in your legs, now it's pulling on your hips. You need to do some stuff to loosen up your hips. It could be, it could be something simple like that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff to take a look at there. The human body and the musculature and the mechanical connections between joints and bones and muscles can get very complicated, and they are all interdependent. So when you are used to doing one very specific thing, you introduce something else, it throws that whole system into a crazy space. So taking your time and getting evaluated will probably be my first 2 recommendations. Hope that helps your questioning, Nicole. Let's see. Juliana has a recommendation. 130 grams of protein is 3 homemade egg bites. A bacon meatloaf I made and measured out, and 7 to 8 ounces of New York strip. All right. Bacon meatloaf. What is this bacon meat? You need to share that. I needed to hear about this bacon meatloaf. We got people that say, all right, that's an interesting one. Relight in sparkling water versus Element in regular water. Awesome. John from Colorado is on. John, what's going on, man? Hope things are going well with you, sir. Continuing my journey to fitness, 5 weeks of par 3 golf walking. Fantastic. On track for my regulation walking by the end of the season. Booyah. Walk the whole course. I love it. Let's see. All right, great question, Facebook user. If you wouldn't mind, Facebook user, say your name, type your name in the comments so I know who you are, so I can say hi. Thanks for the question. Been keto carnivore for 4 years. That's awesome. I've been working out and moving with almost no problem. This last year, I have been battling soreness and slower recovery. Any suggestions? That is another huge thing that, without a lot of details, I can't give specifics, but I can definitely give you some generalities. Recovery is a aspect of overall stress load, okay, in general. So your recovery from your workouts may have absolutely nothing to do with your workouts. It may have to do with your sleep. They may have to do with you eating enough. They may have to do with you being overly stressed on your job, or in a bad relationship, or dealing with money situations or health issues or something else. So there's a lot of things that are going on that are adding to the overall stress load in your body. So basic stress management is probably the first thing that I would look at. Outside of that, the next thing I would look at would be your actual training program. How many days a week are you training? Are you training too hard? Are you hitting the wrong things, the same things too many times in a week? Are you doing high intensity training? Are you doing a lot of cardio? Are you doing mostly strength training? Like, there's a lot of questions about training, but in general, keeping the training within what we call your maximum recovery volume. You should train to a point that you can recover in a reasonable amount of time to do that type of work again. If you're just training, and you're never giving your body time to recover, then that could be a problem. And that can build up over time. You may do that for 3, 4, 6, 8 months and not seem to have a problem, and then run into a freaking wall and be like, why do I feel like crap? I can't recover. I can't work out. What's going on? And that could just be because you've been overtraining for a long period of time and your body finally just gave up. Okay. So take a look at that. And then obviously nutrition is the third thing. Eat your face off. You got to eat to recover, guys. One of the biggest mistakes that comes from the calories in, calories out, energy management mindset, the fat loss mindset, the traditional, everything we've heard about energy expenditure. Okay. One of the habits that I see that I have to break people of a lot is changing how much they eat based on their activity level. I didn't work out today, so I'm not going to eat as much. Oh, I worked out today, so I'm going to eat more. Stop doing that. When you're not working out is when you need the most protein, because that's when your body's actually doing building. Okay. So eat your food every day. If you're working out or not, it doesn't matter. Get your food in every day, period. You are always, this is another thing, you guys get me on a soapbox on a Tuesday night. You are always in some type of muscle protein synthesis. This whole thought process and idea that muscle protein synthesis only happens when you eat a bolus of 30 proteins or more, or when you exercise, is bullcrap. Guys, if I eat a meal of protein, that protein is in my body and digesting for 8+ hours. Okay, that's one thing. So if I'm eating regularly, I eat enough, even if I'm fasting, I still have protein in my body that's being utilized. Okay, even if I do intermittent fasting, it's still in there. I don't eat and then I'm done, right? I eat and then my body is processing what I ate for 8 hours through my next meal and when I sleep, whatever it may be. Okay, so this idea that we only have muscle protein synthesis happening when we eat or exercise is skewing things up and messing things up for people. The other thing is muscle protein synthesis post-exercise can occur up to 72 hours after the exercise event. So if you lift today, your body is still processing protein and building muscle up to 72 hours after you did that work, right? You are always in muscle protein synthesis, so just eat. Okay, that's my take on protein and food for recovery. Hope that answers your question. Let's see. All right, here's a common mistake. Nicole, don't just give it time and hope it subsides. Okay, go get it looked at. All right, I highly recommend go get it looked at, because here's another aspect that I didn't mention, but I want to talk about. It's very possible that there's something that you're doing in the exercises that you're doing that could be causing pain. It could have nothing to do with what I said, as far as changing from one type of exercise to another and your body having to readjust and correct dysfunction. There may be something that you're doing when you're squatting or lunging or deadlifting or doing any of these movements that's causing pain that you shouldn't be having in the first place, regardless of what you were doing before. Okay, so you got two options, and this is one of the options. You're in my program. Send movement videos to the group so that I can look at them. Okay, in my program, in my boot camp, I have an option. Every Monday, we have Movement Monday. Every Monday, I ask people to send videos of them doing movements so that I can review the movements and give you tips. If you take some video of you doing the workouts, then I can look at the video and I can tell you, hey, try this, try that, change this, change that, or you're doing fantastic, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, but you got to have somebody look at what you're doing. If you're having pain, it's because something is happening that may not be good. You need to get it looked at. Okay, don't just wait, because you wait and hope it subsides, then it gets worse, then you're sidelined, and that's not what we want. Okay, so take care of yourself. Either send me some videos in the group, or go find a physical therapist and have them take a look at you. Okay, that's my recommendation for you. Let's see. All right, we got Chris. All right, Chris was the one that asked the question about keto carnivore for 4 years. Chris, thanks for the question. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit. And he said, so technically we are always simulating muscle protein synthesis. Yes, it's always happening, guys. It's always happening. There's always something happening in our body that's synthesizing protein. Let's see. Nicole said, yes, I'll get some video sent. Fantastic. Ooh, here we go. This is a good question. Programming question. Karen Marie. Thanks, Karen, for being on and asking a question. Is it better to have a leg day, upper body day, or a full body workout days? All right. Who's going to take a wild guess on what my initial answer is going to be? All right. Or question is going to be. All right, Karen, the question is always going to be, first off, what's your goal? What are you trying to do? There is no better, because better is only determined by, is it working? So if your goal is to get full body functional movement in on a regular basis in a short amount of time because you're busy, you only have maybe 30 minutes to work a few times a week, then a full body, weight resisted, high intensity interval training type of class could be great, or program could be great. If you have time and you're focused more on specifically getting stronger, building muscle, and trying to improve in, say, basic lifting techniques, then splitting things up into an upper, a lower, or a front and back and arms, or something like that, some kind of bodybuilding split, as we call it, or straight split, that could work as well if you have the time and the equipment and the resources to do that. So it's really about, what are you trying to do, and how much time do you have? What equipment do you have? Where are you working? Do you know what you're doing? What's your experience level? All those things. So all of the things that you listed, Karen, could be fantastic. I don't know which one would be best for your specific circumstances, though. Hope that makes sense. Okay. If you're wondering how to figure all that out, okay, then guess what, guys? I have a book that I'm writing. It is currently in editing. You guys talked about it over the past couple of weeks. I just got another round of editing back in yesterday. I'm hoping it will be out by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. In this book, I'm going to walk you through the process of figuring out some of those things. What programs should you be looking at? What are you trying to do? What does this program do versus that program, right? How do I take what I'm trying to do, compare that to the programs that I have available, and decide which one might be best for me, right? So that's going to be one of the things in the book. Okay, it's a book based on my method. It's a book based on helping you guys understand how to follow the concepts and principles behind health, fitness, nutrition, and mindset that work, and then figure out how to make them work for you. That's what that's about. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep your eyes open for that one. That should be coming out hopefully again by the end of the year. All right. Let's see. We got. Let's take that one out. Put this one in, Coach B. Let's see, Tanya. What's up, Tanya? Okay, this is an interesting one. Coach B, I do Orange Theory 3 times a week. Should I incorporate sprints or do additional days? How to burn the last of the fat? By the way, 52 post-hysterectomy, so I have that menopause spare tire. Okay. You don't need to worry about the fat. Okay. Tanya, what you're exhibiting right here is a classic mindset of, I'm trying to burn fat, so I need to do more work. Okay. What I would tell you is, my recommendation would be cut Orange Theory down to 2 times a week, and then go to the gym and just lift weights 2 times a week. So you would be a great example of what having an upper and a lower split could look like, right? You do Orange Theory maybe Monday and Wednesday, and Friday and Saturday you do legs at the gym, work some legs, and then Saturday you work some upper body, some chest, some arms, some back, right? Just from a strength perspective. Not high intensity, not a lot of reps, something that's heavy for 5 to 8 reps at most. Because you're getting all your high rep stuff in Orange Theory. You don't need all the high rep stuff in the gym. You want heavy stuff in the gym to help build muscle, right? And to build that engine is what you're looking for. So that would be my recommendation. You don't need to worry about sprints. You're getting a very similar effect of sprints in your Orange Theory classes. You don't need to incorporate sprints. You need to incorporate strength training, building muscle, and not worrying about the fat. If you build muscle and you build strength and you get active in a way that challenges your body from a muscular perspective, not just an intensity perspective, Orange Theory is a lot of go, go, go. Okay, we need some push, push, push. Push weight, push weight, push weight. When you combine the two, go, 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 and push, 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 then you get lean, lean, lean. Okay, I just made that up. I like that. Hope that helps, Tanya. All right. Let's see. We got here. Looking forward to your new book. Thank you. When are you recording the audiobook? Juliana, I'm not going to do an audiobook. Not yet. I don't think. It was on my goal list for this year, and it's just gotten so crazy. I have not sat down to make it happen. Apologies. They're asking for audio again. Natalie says you guys are not allowed to give me anything else to do. Okay. I got enough stuff going on. All right, guys. Any other questions? Let's see. Oh my God, babe. Juliana just said you only grow when you're uncomfortable. You can do it. You're not allowed to use our words against us, Juliana. Jeez. I appreciate it though. Thanks. I really appreciate the fact that you guys want to get an audio. It is something I want to do. Like I said, I just got to figure out where on the list it is and where it's going to happen. I got a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, we're getting ready to move. If you guys weren't on when I was talking about that at the beginning, Coach Nat and I are looking to move. We spent some time this weekend in the new city we're going to, looking at apartments, trying to figure out where we want to live. So we got that happening because I'm getting a promotion at my job. And what else is going on? I'm also back in school, so I'm going to finish my degree, which I started a couple years ago and then stopped and then started again. So that's happening. I got the book that I'm working on, and I'm doing some research right now. I don't know where this is going to go exactly, but I'm doing some research to potentially write a paper. The last thing I got published was a case study that we did. But this is actually a paper that I'm looking to write and potentially get published, specifically focused on ketogenic metabolism for exercise and breaking some things down and making some recommendations to the community on what I think we should do going forward and how we evaluate the impact of being a fat adapted athlete and how it impacts exercise. So that's a potential paper that I may be writing. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Recording an audiobook is on there somewhere. I don't know. All right. Somebody's saying something about A1C. When it comes to A1C, guys, I'll just throw this out there before I hop off. Don't worry about it too much if all of your other markers are fine. Okay. If your inflammation markers are fine, if your cholesterol numbers are fine, if your hormone panels are fine, if everything is fine, and you've got an A1C of 5.7, what are you worried about? If your blood pressure is fine, if all of these things are good, and you're seeing progress, right? I'm building muscle, I'm losing fat, I'm moving in the right direction, I feel better, I have health issues, I'm off medications. All of these things are happening, and you went from 5'4" to 5'5" to 5'7" over the past several months while you've been carnivore. What are you worried about? Okay, something to think about. And high A1C is not an indicator of diabetes. A high A1C is a tool that is used to manage glucose levels in people who have already been diagnosed with diabetes. Okay? Go take a look and Google it. Go research it yourselves. Go look at how does the doctor know if I have diabetes? Okay, there's 5 or 6, maybe 8 different tests and evaluations that have to do with insulin and hormones and blood sugar and other things. Okay, A1C, in some of the lists it's on there, and some of the lists it's not. Okay, but when it comes to managing someone with diabetes, HbA1c is part of the equation. Okay, so getting hung up on A1C when you're carnivore isn't, I don't really think it's that much of an issue. I really don't. If all the other things are good, just having a high, say that loosely, 5.7 isn't high. 6 is high. 6.5 is high. 9 is high. Okay, but the difference between a 5.4 and a 5.7 is not something that we need to worry about. Okay, that's just my take. My opinion. I'm not a doctor. but that's my opinion. I've been running at a 5.7 for the past 3 years. Never worried about it. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Facebook user says, and we have a couple kittens to get. Absolutely. Do we have a couple kittens to get? Yeah, we do. All right, we got another question actually before I hop off. I had issues with counting calories, metrics. I try to eat intuitive minus protein goals. I tend to eat under greatly when I count. I have done 500 calories or less in a day, which I know isn't good. What is the best way to eat more? I'm not exactly sure what the question is. If you're tracking your food and then when you track, you realize you're not eating enough, then you need to figure out how to eat more. That's where it's at, right? So whether you're deciding that you want to eat more by setting yourself an amount of grams per day of fat protein, or I'm just going to eat 2 meals today instead of 1, or whatever, you've got to start eating more. Figure out a way to start eating more. Okay. Small increases in your meal size. Eat more meals throughout the day. Eat more real food throughout the day. Again, I don't know all the details about what you're going through, what your current routine looks like, and what you're doing or not doing, but you really just, if you're not eating enough, you got to figure out a way to eat more. Okay. And, I would love to, if you wanted to, I do consults. So if you want to set up a consult, we can sit down and talk for an hour on all the different things you're going through and figure out how to come up with a plan to help you do that. But the bottom line is, if you're only eating 500 calories a day, that's probably not enough, and you need to eat more food. So how to do that, there's a million different ways we can talk about how to do that, but you got to figure out, why aren't you? Why do you want to? What are you going to focus on, and what plan are you going to put in place to make it happen? All right, guys. That is all I got. I don't think there's any more questions for tonight. Thank you for coming on. We will be back again next Tuesday at the same time, 8 o'clock Eastern. I took last week off. It was just too crazy, and I'm back in the flow, and I'm feeling good. So if you have any questions, as always, please bring them to the show. Don't forget to share this video with friends and people that you care about that may have questions about health and fitness that I answer. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click on the bell so that every time I come up with a video, because they don't happen a lot, but every once in a while I'll pop a video out on something that's firing me up that I'm passionate about, and I want to just get out and get something out there so you guys can hear what I have to say about it. Sometimes I got crazy stuff going on in my head, so you never know what I'll pop out with. All right, take it easy. I'll see you next week.